Hi everyone, so today we're going to be looking at the Blu-ray release from Eureka of Drunken Master with Jackie Chan, one of my all-time favourite kung fu movies, hands down. Just It's such a classic. I mean, anybody who has even the slightest interest in classic Hong Kong movies, Hong Kong cinema, you have to watch Drunken Master. So basically, you're getting a 4K restoration, you're getting the DVD, the Blu-ray. You get a 20-page booklet inside, as you can see there. So you get a 20-page booklet, and you get usual commentaries, that kind of thing, trailers, that kind of stuff. What I will say, what I love about this release, which has not been around until, because I had the Hong Kong Legends DVD that was released back in the early 2000s, and that only, I will put this down, that only had the original, like the Mandarin track. It didn't actually have the Cantonese audio. So with this release, you're actually getting the Cantonese version, which is actually Jackie's voice. The only thing I will say, I remember having this on video back in 97, 96, 97. It was by VHS. I mean, this is showing how old I am now. And it was by, the label was Made in Hong Kong. It was the Made in Hong Kong label, and they had a different dub to which is featured on recent releases of Drunken Master. Now, I actually preferred the older dub. I know there's copies of it you can buy on DVD somewhere. So, but to have Drunken Master, it's just me nitpicking. It's just when you grow up with a certain way you watch the film, you sometimes you have a bit of nostalgia because that's the way you saw it. So yeah, going on to the film, I mean, this was made obviously after Jackie Chan made Snake and the Eagle's Shadow with Yuen, which was a big, massive success. I mean, he got lent out from Lo Wei to go and work for seasonal films, and Snake and the Eagle's Shadow became a big hit. Drunken Master was made quickly after 1978 and proved an even bigger hit and catapulted Jackie Chan into the stratosphere. The original basically kung fu comedy type of film. But yeah, it's such a shame I haven't got the original English dub on there. But as I say, to compensate for that, it's so nice to have the Cantonese audio, which is very rare. I remember watching this film, like I say, when I was about 11 or 12. It must have been 11 when I first saw it, 12 years old. And obviously, when you're young, your attention span is not that great, as we all know. Like, your attention span is not, you haven't got a lot, the patience for things. So when you're watching something like kung fu movies, which I always had an interest in, even from a very young age, you want to see the fights. You want to see, the crazy stuff that's going to happen. You want to see some acrobatics. You want to see kicks, flying fists, everything. But Jackie Chan, Drunken Master, along with, I would say, probably Enter the Dragon and Prodigal Son with Yuen and Sammo Hung, was probably one of the rare occurrences where, even at that young age, I watched it all the way through and absolutely loved every second of it. Like, from start to finish, there wasn't a dull moment in Drunken Master. And I think what makes Drunken Master such a classic in so many ways is just, it's such a fun film. It is just, from start to finish, you really get the impression that everybody involved is just having a great time. They're really enjoying themselves, and it's just one of them films where it just feels like everything sort of come together. Obviously, Yuen was still finding himself, was very early on in his directional career. I mean, obviously nowadays he's known for the choreography in The Matrix, Kill Bill, yada yada yada. But I mean, this is sort of, I think it was like his second film after Snake and the Eagle's Shadow. So yeah, I mean, it's just such a classic in so many ways. Obviously, the same cast return from Snake and the Eagle's Shadow. Hwang, Jang-lee, Siu-tien, otherwise known as Simon Yuen, comes back as, obviously Yuen Ping's father in real life, as the beggar character. Beggar So, Sam C, depending on which version you watch. So yeah, in this film, Jackie Chan plays Wong Fei Hung. Obviously, a bit of a fictionalized account of the character of Wong Fei Hung. It's obviously made famous, of course, by Jet Li in Once Upon a Time in China, and originally Quan Tak King, who worked, obviously, oddly enough, worked with Yuen Ping on Dreadnought and Magnificent Butcher. He played him in a multitude of movies, I think made in the 30s, 40s, I'm not sure. Somebody will have to correct me on that. But yeah, it's just, you can't praise this film enough for what it is. It's just, you know, the fights come thick and fast. So much comedy is involved. The training sequences are absolutely brilliant. You know, especially just the way it's shot and every film, in every scene. I mean, the film doesn't really slow down. It really completely doesn't slow down at all. And just like I say, everybody seems to be having such a good time with this film. The only thing I will say about this release, which they do now, I know 88 Films do it, and I think Eureka do it now, but unfortunately, I wish we could have had like this original, the Hong Kong poster. I wish they could have done that as the reversible artwork for the Blu-ray release. I wish we could have had that sort of inside, you know, so I could turn it round. Rather, I love this cover as well, but it'd been nice to have had a reversible sleeve to have that on the front, like to have that as the like as the cover to the Blu-ray. But it's just, that is my only, like I say, that and the like the dub is really my only main concern. But Jackie, I mean, if you look at this film, in Snake and Eagle's Shadow, Jackie's a bit of a, you know, he's a bit of an underdog. He doesn't really know any kung fu. He's sort of bullied a lot by Dean Shek, who's also in this one as well. And he's just basically an underdog, and he learns kung fu, and he's very quiet. This one, he's a lot more cocky. Like, he knows some kung fu. He's a bit more cocksure of himself. His father's like a quite respected figure in town. So he's a lot, the character difference is very good, and that's what I like about this, because Jackie is his character is very cocky, and he thinks he can get away with anything, and basically the whole film is like he can't, and he gets sent away to train with his uncle, and obviously just lots of fun and fights happens on the way. Like I say, it's just the only thing with this film, I know obviously I won't talk about the plot all the way through, but it's just fantastic. It really is. I mean, like, the end fight with Hwang Jang-lee, I think it's regarded to be one of Jackie's best, and it is so good, especially when he's going through the 8 drunken gods, and you learn he didn't actually learn one of them because he said he found it too, he didn't want to do it because it was like, he found it too feminine or something, the way of fighting, so he had to sort of make up his own way of dealing with Hwang Jang-lee in the end. What we really need now from Eureka Entertainment is releases of Dance of the Drunken Mantis, which is actually the official sequel done by Yuen to Drunken Master, which follows the Begaso Sam Seed character, which would be fantastic to have on a Blu-ray. Hopefully we'll get around to releasing that. And also, what would be absolutely wonderful is to get an original Hong Kong release of Drunken Master 2, made in 1994, the Jackie Chan sequel they were done with Luo Kao Lung. It would be wonderful to see that on Blu-ray, high definition. It would be absolutely a dream come true to have that. But you know, Eureka, they're doing really well with their kung fu releases. They're definitely picking up the pace. They've announced this week, in the last few days, 7 days, they've got Super Cop coming out, which is great. It's going to be wonderful to have the original Hong Kong version of that, especially with the Jackie's, like I say, his actual voice, the Cantonese audio. So yeah, Drunken Master, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. If you know nothing about Hong Kong cinema, if you're new to the world of Hong Kong cinema, this is a brilliant place to start. Like, there's a reason why this film is rated so highly. I cannot stress enough like how good it is. So if you're new to the world of Hong Kong cinema, kung fu, please check it out. Watch some early Jackie Chan and thoroughly enjoy it. Get some beers in, have some friends around, and just enjoy this classic piece of Hong Kong cinema.